bang, 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 bang. I mean, and that's about as fast as you're ever going to be able to shoot with full power ammo in them, because the recoil is fairly substantial and fairly severe. Hi folks, Tim Sundles here with my beautiful wife Kim doing the filming. We are going to do a video on the 454 Casull and its uses and why in many ways it's superior to the 475 or 500 line bow when it comes to hunting. Not when it comes to stopping, but when it comes to hunting. And the 454 ain't a bad stopper either. It's actually very good. So I want to cover, we did this video months ago and YouTube deleted it. So I went back, CensorTube I mean, deleted it. So I went back through and tried to figure out why. And I think I figured it out. So we'll do the video and make it CensorTube legitimate so that we don't get banned again and have them delete our videos and give us strikes for stuff that they mostly just make up anyway, because they do it sometimes and don't do it other times when it would apply the same. Who knows? So any discussion of the 454 Casull also needs to include the very strong 45 Colt revolvers. Because if your 45 Colt ammo is designed properly, it can do pretty much anything the 454 Casull can do, but it's revolver exclusive. There's only certain revolvers or lever actions you can shoot them in. So here I've got the two 45 Colt loads that I want to discuss. And you can see the ballistics right there on the box. And here's two of the 454 Casull loads I want to discuss. And over here you can see that's 45 Colt, 300 grain, 45 Casull, 300 grain. 45 Colt, 325 grain, 454 Casull, 325 grain. The difference in them is 200 feet a second. Now, if you're a good ammunition engineer, you can make your 45 Colts just as powerful as 454 Casull for select guns. So let's start with these carbines over here. Oh, by the way, we were at our place in Wyoming last week and I picked up some Wyoming mugs. Now, that's a coffee mug. You know, I don't need these little sipping city boy cups. That's a man's coffee mug, except that Kim drinks from one too, so certain women are allowed in. Start with these carbines. Kim uses this. I just started her on this little gun and on lever actions in general about 6 weeks ago. And Kim wanted something super lightweight, super short, super handy that she could carry in the grizzly woods. And if I ever found myself getting mauled, she could kill grizzly bear with it. She's been practicing. She practices several times a week right over here on our back porch. And frankly, I would go there and shoot some of these for you, except our farriers here shoeing horses. And while our horses are pretty used to gunfire, I just don't think it's a good idea. Not while the guy's bent over and he's got a foot up in the air, you know, and he's doing all this stuff. No, I just not gonna shoot. We've shot several of the 454 loads that Buffalo Bore makes in this gun. And we're settling on probably one of the lighter loads. I don't even have it out here, but it's it's this bullet, the 300 grain monometal in this 45 Colt, is just in the 454. And monometal bullets are long for their weight, so they reduce your powder capacity. So they're never going to be in small straight-walled cases like this. They're never going to be as powerful as lead-based, shorter for their weight bullets that don't crowd your powder capacity. Now, that same thing doesn't hold true with when you get into the big bottleneck, like 416 Rigby and stuff. You can use long monometal bullets, and there's so much case capacity, it doesn't matter. They don't crowd your capacity enough to hurt a thing, velocity-wise. Anyway, this little gun shooting the 300 grain monometal 454 gives 1,700 feet a second. Now, if I wanted, I could definitely make ammo that shot them at 1,800 or 1,850 out of this little 16-inch barreled gun. I don't want to. The design of that bullet and the way it will not expand and that big sharp-edged flat nose on it is what does the killing. Another 150 feet a second isn't gonna matter at these velocity levels. And that thing will go, I mean, it should go lengthwise through a grizzly. I've never shot a grizzly lengthwise with it. And around here, a big bore grizzly is 600 pounds or so. I've seen them as big as 900. Everybody says interior grizzlies can't get that big. Baloney. A car hit one out here on I-15, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And so they had a chance to live weigh it. It was over 900 pounds. And there was one on the Lolo Pass, I think that's Highway 12, that was hit by a car, so it could be live weighed too. And it was over 900 pounds. So those might not be the norms, but they do exist.
Babe, we don't have grizzlies around here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, she's quoting Fish and Game. 25 years ago when I saw my first grizzly bear on this mountain range right behind us, which is the Bitterroot, it's the south end of the Bitterroot range, right where it changes to the Beaverhead range. I went in and told Fish and Game, and they said, no, that was a color phased black bear. And I said, well, great then, I'm gonna shoot it and put my tag on it. And they about had a conniption. I told him you can't have it both ways. It's a grizzly, or there are no grizzlies here, and so it can't be a grizzly. You should have seen them fumble and stumble. I mean, they're just a bunch of lying bureaucrats. They're into social engineering, and when they get an actual mountain man like myself that's out there doing this all the time, they'll just tell you you're wrong. Okay, I've seen thousands of grizzly bears in my lifetime in Alaska. I know what a freaking grizzly bear is. I've shot my fair share of grizzly bears. Legally in Alaska and illegally in the lower 48 when they threaten me. Because according to constitutional law, if your life or the life of another person is threatened, technically that makes it legal. But Fish and Game will tell you it's illegal because they have their own agenda. And it's not about your freedom or your rights. Okay, back to the guns. Kim likes this little thing. It weighs under 6 pounds, probably about 5.5 pounds. I don't think I've weighed it. Short, fast, powerful. And I put a Skinner aperture sight on it so that I could lengthen my sight radius from there to there instead from there all the way back to here. Makes for much more accurate sighting, much more precise. And it's just a little all stainless. When I bought this thing 10, 12 years ago, I would have said it's almost a throwaway gun. But anything that works this good is not a throwaway gun. But back when I bought it, it was like a $350 gun. Now they're like $1,000. So they're no longer at throwaway prices. Now, 45 Colt. This is a Marlin 1894, one of the Davidson's limited cowboy models. also with a Skinner sight on it so that I can get more sight radius. This is a 20-inch barrel. It shoots this 45 Colt load. That's a 325 grain flat-nosed hard cast bullet. It shoots it out of this barrel at 1,654 feet a second. I was just shooting these 2 days ago through the chronograph, messing around with checking velocities because I tend to forget this stuff because I have so many numbers crammed into my head. A 325 at 1,650 feet a second is every bit as powerful as the 300 grain monometal in this rifle at 1,700 feet a second. There's no difference, and they will kill the same. So the 45 Colt plus P, when you shoot it from carbines, can be exceedingly powerful. And you can see this thing's loaded. I was just shooting it yesterday, and I don't like putting my guns away unloaded. Kim was shooting this yesterday, but she shot it empty and didn't reload it till her next shooting session. So I would frankly just as soon she carried this, but it weighs a pound more, the barrel's 4 inches longer, and the beauty of this little beast is it's got all that power in a teeny tiny little package. It won't rust on you. You can get it rained on and then just throw it in the corner and let it dry. You know, this not so much. You get rained on, you're going to want to wipe it down with an oily cloth because, it's too nice of a gun to turn into a rust bucket. So, to the revolvers. Now, there was a time, these are both Freedom Arms Model 83s. There was a time when I owned 7 of them. I only own 2 now. I had them in barrel lengths from 7.5 to 4 3/4. These are both 6-inch barrels. You can shoot 300 grain bullets if you want to at 1,700 feet a second out of these 6-inch barrels. Now, I'm gonna say our factory ammo with 325s is running 1,525 feet a second out of these. That's flat shooting. I mean, it's more flat shooting than your flattest shooting 44 mags. And, if you want to use a 7.5 or a 6-inch barrel, mount a scope on them and take them out in the field and hunt with them, I mean, they're 200-yard guns. And I don't need a scope to shoot animals at 200 yards. I shoot enough with iron sights that I know how to hold at 200, and it's a piece of cake. That gets much, much harder with the 475 line ball and the 500 line ball. They drop faster. You'd be surprised how flat they do shoot though. But I see those as just up close stoppers. And frankly, the 454 is a good up close stopper. So let's start with these guns. I was shooting this one on the weekend also. This is a Bowen Nimrod chambered in 45 Colt. You can custom this load right here. We advertise at 1,325 feet a second. It's doing 1,345 out of this gun with the 5.5-inch barrel. And if I want to engineer that to run 1,525 feet a second with a 325 grain, just like the 454s in this gun, no problemo. Beautiful gun, by the way. I haven't had this one very long, but with Bowen retiring here in just a few months, in fact, he's not taking any new orders already. He's done taking orders. This one was used, and I bought it just because the Bowen Nimrods will go up in value, and they're highly usable. So 454 velocities, no problem. This is a super usable little gun. This is a Freedom Arms Model 97. Now, if you know how to make ammo, it's got a real short little cylinder on it, but you can make ammo for this that shoots that same bullet right there, that 325 grain at 1,325 feet a second. Easily doable. There's tricks to that Sensor Tube won't let me discuss without violating their community standards that the community never chose. But if we're going to talk 454s, we got to talk 45 Colts, because in the right guns, you can load them just as hot. Now, I've talked about these two Freedom Arms Model 83s already. This is a very old one. This was made in 1985, and I've had it all this time, and I've used the daylights out of it. Really like their guns. They're almost too tight for a field gun, because if you get them dirty or if you use the wrong ammo, they won't even chamber. You have to, I mean, these are built like match grade, like target guns. And they're supposed to be a field gun, although I'm sure a lot of people shoot steel silhouette and stuff, so they want the match grade type accuracy. It's certainly, this gun, these Model 83s, are capable of out shooting the best shot. I mean, you might be the world's best revolver shot. The guns can outshoot you the way they're engineered and designed and executed. I just think they're a wonderful tool. Same thing, this is a newer one. This one's a field grade. It's just as good as the deluxe, what are they called? Premier grade. It's just as good. And this was, no, this one's nothing special on the serial number. This is a standard Red Hawk 454, built by Jack Huntington. And, you know, so you get the 6-shot capacity. You don't have to go to a 5-shot cylinder. I've shot the daylights out of it. If you want double action, those can be built for you. You can get a double action 454 that's not on a big Raging Bull Taurus frame or a big Super Red Hawk frame. You can get them on the standard Red Hawk frame. There are people that believe that double action is better. If a bear has you on your back, that the double action is better because you can just pull the trigger. Well, when you're shooting full power 454 ammo, first of all, you can't shoot that fast because the gun's gonna go boom back here. And then you've got to get it back on target, shoot again, back on target, shoot again. It's really no faster than a good single action if you practice with a single action. You know, and I've already checked these guns over and over and over, but to be safe, I always check them. Double action, same thing, bang, 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 bang. And that's about as fast as you're ever going to be able to shoot with full power ammo in them, because the recoil is fairly substantial and fairly severe. This wraps up what I wanted to say about the 454 Casull and its little sister, the 45 Colt, which is its full equal in the right guns. Probably the 454 is probably more versatile than the 475 and 500 line bow, just because of the extended range, the advantages using them for hunting. Like when I shoot a 500 line bow, if I want to hunt with it, I limit myself to 100 yards. I just do. With the 454s, I'll limit myself to about 200 yards, even with iron sights, just because they're flatter shooting. And I have noticed in my lifetime of being in the woods and killing a lot of big animals, all over the world for that matter, When you hit 45 caliber, when you get to that bullet diameter, you start to really notice a difference in how well they kill. And I'm gonna tick off a bunch of 44 mag fans here. 44 mag is 43 caliber. It's 0.429 inch. 45 Colt is 0.451 inch. So it's 2 calibers bigger, really 2.2 calibers bigger. And I get a lot of people that disagree with me. They've never killed a thing with these guns. They live on the internet. They look at figures. They hypothesize. By the way, which I'm not knocking, because if you don't have an active mind and if you don't hypothesize, you don't learn and grow. But hypothesizing is not real world, actual get out and do it facts. I've killed enough game with handguns and with rifles, and I'm telling you, and I mean, I'm, well over 1,000 big game animals easily, telling you, when you hit 45 caliber, things just start to get devastating, both in rifles and handguns. There's something about that 0.45 inch mark that really kills well. And that continues as you go up to the 500s, and the 577 Nitro is really a killing machine. And that's a 58.5 caliber, it's 0.585 bullet diameter. I mean, and they really kill. But as soon as you hit 45 caliber, things get real interesting when you pull the trigger on animals. So folks, God bless. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the next video.
And just to give you an update, Tim just finished doing a podcast with Lynn Thompson, the founder of Cold Steel. It was about 2 hours. That should be coming up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
And Lynn's killed a lot more stuff than I have, especially with handguns.
Really great interview. Also, we have started with a new media firm, for Hawk Media. So bear with us, be patient. We will start coming out with 2 videos a week. Lots of stuff on Instagram, Facebook, X,
Spotify,
TikTok, Twitter. So look for all of it. There's going to be a lot of shorts that they're going to take little segments from videos out of. A lot of work being put in to educate and bring forward all of this to everybody who would like it. So going to be out there on a lot of different platforms. Join us, give us your feedback. We really appreciate it. And again, we still have our affiliate partners, Shields, Midway, Palmetto State Arms, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Kafaru. On our website, if you click our link, you get special offers from them. So we appreciate it. Hope you're learning a lot. God bless, and we will see you soon.